Hello everyone, today I want to share a deeply personal story. One that changed my life forever. My name is Emma, and I am 29 years old. This is a story about love, trust, heartbreak, and most importantly, rediscovery. I believe that by sharing my journey, you may learn something valuable about relationships, self-worth, and the strength it takes to move forward. This isn't just any story. This is my life. The story of how I met the love of my life, how we built something beautiful together, and how everything shattered when I uncovered the truth. But more than anything, this is about how I learned to heal, find myself again, and become stronger than I ever thought possible. I remember the day I met Ryan as if it were yesterday. It was 6 years ago, on a quiet, rainy afternoon in San Francisco. At the time, I worked at a small bookstore, a place that felt like a second home to me. I loved books, and being surrounded by them every day brought me comfort. That afternoon, as I was arranging books on the shelf, the door opened, and in walked Ryan. He was tall, with dark brown hair and a warm, inviting smile that instantly caught my attention. He approached me and asked, "Can you recommend a good book?" His voice was deep yet gentle, and there was a kindness in his eyes that made me feel at ease. I smiled and handed him one of my favorite novels. "This is one of my favorites," I told him. He glanced at the book, then back at me and said with a grin, "Then I'll take it." From that day on, Ryan became a regular at the bookstore. Sometimes he would buy books, other times he would simply sit and read, but no matter what, he always made time to talk to me. Our conversation started out casual, just small talk about literature and life, but they soon became longer and more personal. I found myself looking forward to his visits, to the way his eyes lit up when he talked about his passions. One evening, after months of growing closer, he finally asked me, "Emma, would you like to have dinner with me?" For a moment I hesitated. There was a nervous excitement in my chest, a feeling I hadn't experienced in a long time. Then I smiled and nodded. "I'd love to." That dinner marked the beginning of something truly special. Over plates of pasta and glasses of wine, we talked for hours, sharing our dreams, our fears, and our favorite memories. He told me he was a photographer who loved traveling, capturing the world through his lens. I shared my dream of one day opening my own bookstore, a place where stories could come alive. He listened, truly listened, and that made me feel seen, valued, special. For the next 3 years, Ryan and I were inseparable. He knew how to make me feel loved in the smallest ways, bringing me my favorite coffee on cold mornings, leaving handwritten notes in my books, and surprising me with impromptu weekend trips. We traveled together, watched the sunset by the ocean, and laughed until our stomachs hurt. It felt like something out of a fairy tale, like I had found my person. Then, one evening, he took me to the top of a hill where we often went for walks. The wind played with my hair as I stood there, taking in the breathtaking view. Ryan turned to me, his expression serious yet filled with love. Then he got down on one knee, pulled out a ring and said, "Emma, I can't imagine my life without you. Will you marry me?" Tears welled in my eyes as I whispered, "Yes." It was the happiest moment of my life. 6 months later, we were married in a small ceremony surrounded by close friends and family. I wore a simple white gown, and Ryan looked handsome in a navy blue suit. As we exchanged vows, he held my hands tightly and whispered, "I will love you forever." In that moment I truly believed him. For the first 2 years of our marriage, life was everything I had ever dreamed of. We moved into a cozy apartment and decorated it together, filling the space with love and laughter. He would take pictures of me when I wasn't looking, capturing the most intimate, unguarded moments. I, in turn, would write him little love letters and hide them in his backpack, knowing he would find them when he least expected it. We cooked together, danced in our living room, and dreamed about the future. I trusted him completely. But life doesn't always go as planned. First, the changes were subtle. Ryan started coming home later than usual, brushing it off with a simple, "Work was hectic today." Our conversations became shorter, less meaningful. I would catch him smiling at his phone, his fingers typing quickly before he would put it away the moment I walked into the room. One night as we lay in bed, I finally gathered the courage to ask, "Ryan, is something wrong?" He let out a deep sigh and turned to me. "No, Emma. I'm just tired. Work is stressful." I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He was my husband, the man who promised to love me forever. But then, the late nights became more frequent. The love notes stopped. The surprise coffee never came. And deep down I knew something had changed. It started as an ordinary day, but everything changed when I found something unexpected in his jacket pocket, a dinner receipt from a fancy restaurant. My eyes scanned the details. The date was last Thursday, the very night he told me he was working late. My heart pounded in my chest. At first, I tried to convince myself that it could have been a business dinner. Maybe I was just overthinking. But deep down, a sinking feeling told me otherwise. Weeks passed, and though I tried to push my doubts aside, they lingered in the back of my mind. Then one night, I woke up to the soft vibration of his phone. He was fast asleep beside me, unaware. Curious, I picked up the phone to silence it, but as the screen lit up, my breath caught in my throat. A message flashed across the screen. "Miss you already. Can't wait to see you again." My hands trembled as I stared at the words, my mind racing. Who was she? The next morning, I could no longer keep my suspicions bottled up. As we sat at the breakfast table, I finally asked the question that had been weighing on my heart. Ryan, are you seeing someone else? He looked up from his plate, surprised. What? No, Emma. Why would you even ask that? Without a word, I reached into my pocket, pulled out the receipt, and placed it in front of him. Explain this. His face turned pale. He hesitated, searching for words. It's nothing. Just dinner with a friend. Which friend? My voice wavered, but I needed the truth. Silence. That silence told me everything. After what felt like an eternity, he finally spoke. Her name is Sophie. She works with me. I never meant for this to happen. Tears burned my eyes. My voice barely came out as I whispered, how long? He exhaled deeply, avoiding my gaze. 6 months. 6 months. For half a year the man I loved, the man I trusted, had been lying to me. The days that followed were some of the hardest of my life. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Every corner of our home reminded me of him, of US, of everything we had built together. The memories felt suffocating. One evening, as I sat alone in the dark, a realization hit me. I had two choices. I could let this pain consume me, or I could choose to rebuild myself. Chose to rebuild. The first step was removing everything that reminded me of him. The photos, the gifts, the little love notes. Everything went into a box. Out of sight, out of mind. Then I asked myself, what does Emma want? I started journaling every morning, pouring my emotions onto paper. Writing became my therapy. I took long walks in the park, reclaiming spaces that once belonged to us. One day I saw a little boy learning to ride a bicycle. He fell, scraped his knee, but without hesitation, he got up and tried again. Watching him I realized, if he can keep going, so can I. I joined a painting class, something I had always wanted to do but never found the time for. With every stroke of the brush, I poured my pain onto the canvas. Slowly I felt myself healing. But the most important step in my journey, I forgave Ryan. Not for him but for myself. Holding on to anger only hurt me more. A year later, I took a solo trip to Greece. As I stood by the ocean, watching the waves crash against the shore, I felt something I hadn't in a long time, peace. I had survived, had grown, and most importantly, I had learned the greatest lesson of all. I don't need someone else to complete me. I am already whole. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful for improving your English skills. If you like this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who want to learn English too. To make learning easier, watch this video again and try repeating the sentences aloud. This will help you understand the vocabulary better and improve your pronunciation. And if you want more interesting stories like this, stay tuned for our next video. See you soon and happy learning!